Is Joe Biden trying to start World War III before he leaves office? The decision to use long range missiles to strike targets deep inside Russia is insane, Michael Snyder reports, and I believe that everybody agrees with this. That is, it's insane. As if everything that Joe Biden has done so far was not enough, now he has decided to push the world into the brink of nuclear war, it seems. On Sunday, Joe Biden decided to allow Ukraine to use long-range missiles provided by the United States to hit targets deep inside Russia. This is a bombshell report. I don't know how else to put it. The Russians have already warned us how they will respond if long-range missiles provided by the United States and other NATO countries start raining down on their cities. Sadly, most Americans have no idea what a direct conflict with Russia would mean. When I first heard what Joe Biden had done, I reacted very emotionally. I'm still feeling very emotional at this moment. I'm sure my comment is, I'm sure most people in the world feel that way. Now, everybody needs to clearly understand what just happened because this is a major turning point. President Biden has given the okay to lift restrictions that will allow Ukraine to use U.S.-provided long-range weapons to strike deep inside Russian territory. A U.S. official confirmed to CBS News on Sunday the move is a significant change to U.S. policy in the ongoing Ukraine-Russia conflict. The easing of restrictions would allow Kiev to use the Army Tactical Missile System, or ATACMS, to hit targets inside Russia. The move also comes as some 10,000 North Korean troops were sent to Kursk near Ukraine's northern border to help Russian forces retake territory. One of the reasons why I'm so upset is because this is not his decision to make. We just had an election and his side lost. The American people elected a leader that wants to bring the war in Ukraine to an end. But now Joe Biden is trying to make sure that nobody is going to be able to end this war. According to CBS News, one of the reasons why this decision was made was to put Kiev in a better negotiating position when and if peace talks happen. The U.S. decision could help Ukraine at a moment when Russian forces appear to be making gains and could put Kiev in a better negotiation position when and if peace talks happen. It also comes as Biden is about to leave office and President-elect Trump has pledged to limit American support for Ukraine and ending the war as soon as possible. Are you kidding me? That is nonsense. Donald Trump needs to come forward immediately and denounce this move because we could be facing a scenario where events spiral out of control before he even has the opportunity to take office. When Vladimir Putin was asked about the possibility that long-range missiles provided by U.S. could soon be used to hit targets deep inside Russia, he responded by warning that such a move would mean that U.S. and European countries were at war with Russia. We are not talking about allowing or not allowing the Ukrainian regime to strike Russia with these things, Putin said Thursday in comments to propagandist Pavel Zarubin. We're talking about deciding whether NATO countries are directly involved in the military conflict or not. And this will mean that NATO countries, the US and European countries, are at war with Russia, Putin said. And if this is so, then bearing in mind the change in the very essence of this conflict, we will make appropriate decisions based on the threats that will be created for us, he said. Joe Biden just called Putin's bluff. We just crossed that red line and there is no going back. And now we will see if Putin is bluffing or not. Later in September, Vladimir Putin explained that the joint attack on the Russian Federation could trigger the use of nuclear weapons. A new nuclear doctrine would clearly set the conditions for Russia to transition to using nuclear weapons, he warned, and such scenarios including conventional missile strikes against Moscow. He said that Russia would consider such a possibility of using nuclear weapons if it detected the start of a massive launch of missiles, aircrafts, and drones into its territory, which presented a critical threat to the country's sovereignty. He said it's proposed that aggression against Russia by any non-nuclear state, but with the participation or support of a nuclear state, be considered as their joint attack on the Russian Federation. The Russians have told us that allowing Ukraine to fire long-range missiles deep into their territory could cause a nuclear war, but Joe Biden did it anyway. Just imagine how we would feel if some foreign power was firing long-range missiles into Washington, D.C. and New York City. If someone did that to us, we would nuke them. I want everyone out there to understand the gravity of the scenario that we're facing. Of course, the Russians have escalated matters as well. In fact, they just targeted over Ukraine. Zelensky and meanwhile the war in the Middle East threatening to spiral completely out of control. On Sunday, Zurich was reporting that Israeli troops were fighting near the Lebanese border. Now, even though we could see these wars coming way in advance, nobody has been able to stop them. Now Joe Biden has brought us to the brink of nuclear war with Russia, even though he has very little time remaining in the White House. This was not his decision to make, but he made it anyway. And it could end up having very serious implications for every man, woman, and child on the entire planet. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book, Why, is available on paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophets of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and he always freely, happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.